Hello and welcome to Planet 40k. Today we're going to be reviewing the Annihilation Barge from the current Necron Codex. So the barge is a heavy support option in a quite competitive area of the Codex. It costs you 6 power level or 120 points, and it will go up to 125 as soon as you buy one of its weapons, which I'll go over later in the video. As for keywords, it can fit into any dynasty, it's a vehicle and has quantum shielding and can also fly. So its movement is 12 inch, weapon skill 6+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 6, wounds 8, attacks 3, leadership 10 and a 3+ save. So quite quick for a heavy option and a steady amount of wounds there. It carries the living metal ability, regaining a lost wound at the start of the turn. It's got command protocols, which is an army wide buff which is predetermined before the game and you get one each battle round. You will need a noble on the table, and also you need to be within 6 inches of a character in order to be affected by the ability. It's also got the new quantum shielding, which not only applies a 5+ invuln save, but also doesn't allow any unmodified wound rolls of a 1, 2 or 3 to wound, so effectively you need 4 pluses to wound, which massively helps against high strength weaponry. It explodes on a 6 once destroyed, causing everything within 3 inches to suffer a mortal wound. Then finally it's got the hovering rule, which is more of a technicality for the game, so you can measure from its hull or its base when determining range, whichever is closest. So it comes stock with a Gauss cannon and a twin Tesla destructor, so let's talk about those. The Gauss cannon is actually 5 points, making your final cost 125 points. It's a 24 inch range, heavy 3, strength 6, -3 AP with D3 damage. So it is a marine killer effectively, not a bad AP or damage. You can switch this weapon out for a better range Tesla cannon, which is 30 inch range, heavy 3 again, strength 6 but only 1 damage. However, each hit roll of an unmodified 6 scores 2 additional hits. I personally wouldn't bother, as Tesla in this edition isn't that great, as they've nerfed the rule to unmodified 6s and the AP and damage is pretty poor. The twin Tesla destructor is a better range at 36 inch range, heavy 10, strength 7, no AP and single damage, and any unmodified 6s will grant you an additional 2 hits. So this weapon feels a bit of an odd place in the game right now. So there's loads of shots here, and each unmodified roll of a 6 to hit gives you 2 additional hits, so on average you'll be scoring about 6 or 7 initial hits, and then there's likely to be at least 1 6 in there, so you're probably going to be getting about 8 or 9 hits overall. Problem is, it's a great strength but there's no AP or damage, so against vehicles this isn't going to be doing enough. That leaves it as an anti-horde weapon, which is strange as it doesn't need that strength 7 for anti-horde. Also, this is a heavy, so you want it doing the more heavy work like the other heavy units within the book, such as your Doomsday Arcs and your Doomstalkers. So I see this as a real issue here. So out of the Dynasty codes that have a use for the barge, you've got the Mefrit Dynasty for that 3 inch extra range, and you also get an extra -1 AP if you fire within half range. The Nihilat code grants you objective secured, which is quite nice on a 8 wounded model with an invuln and quantum shielding, and it also turns those -1 AP weapons into 0 AP weapons if you're targeted while within your deployment zone. The Warhammer Dynasty may be useful to shrug off those mortal wounds on a 5+, and it also grants you 1 reroll to wound per phase. This may be useful for your Gauss cannon each turn to remove marine perhaps. So if you were to use the custom dynasties, then looking at the dynastic traditions, there's Eternal Conquerors, that's basically objective secured again. Superior Artisans, that gives you that reroll to wound roll. You can do the same with the Masters of the Martial, except you're rerolling 1 hit roll rather than a wound roll. Then you pair this up with one of the Circumstances of the Awakening. There's Healthy Paranoia for the extra 3 inch range. Relentlessly Expansionist for that 6 inch movement after deployment but before the game begins, to maybe get you into a better position or give you line of sight. And the final option that works well with the barge is Interplanetary Invaders, which allows your vehicles to fall back and shoot, but at the cost of -1 to hit. However, it also allows you to shoot your heavy weapons while within combat, without the -1 to hit penalty, which is quite good for your barge in fairness, because it's got heavy weapons. Looking at a few stratagems then, for 1 CP you can pull Curse of the Pharaon, so if your barge did get destroyed, you don't have to roll to blow it up, it just blows up. So it can be really handy if you're surrounded by a lot of enemy units. Malevolent Arcing for 1 CP. So when using your Tesla weapons, roll a d6 for each unit within 6 inches of the enemy, and on a 4+ they suffer a mortal wound. Quantum Shielding for 1 CP turns your 5+ invuln save into a 4+ invuln save, so not too bad for resiliency. So a quick look at the Dynasty specific stratagems then. You've got the Mefrit Dynasty has Talent for Annihilation, which costs 1 CP. So this is where any unmodified wound rolls of a 6 will cause a mortal wound on top. So this is quite nice for your 10-shot Tesla Destructor. Then lastly, the Warhammer Dynasty has Empiric Damping. So for 1 CP you can deny the Witch with an 18-inch on a single dice roll of a 4+. So it can be quite a big play here if there's a specific psychic power that your opponent really needs to cast. But to be fair, you can be using this on any unit, it doesn't have to be of the Annihilation Barge. So in terms of synergy for the Barge, the Technomancer helps. It's got a Canoptic Cloak, so this gives him a 10-inch movement so he can keep up with your Barge. It also gives him Fly, which helps, and it repairs friendly Dynasty units D3 wounds a turn. So it's really good for your resiliency there. Spiders also do the same with their Fabricator Claw Array, and they can be a pretty solid combat defense for your Barge, as it's quite useless in combat. Also, Triarch Stalkers can massively help. If it targets a unit first, it then gives an army-wide reroll 1s to hit against that targeted unit. So it will not only help your Tesla weapons by turning 1s into hits and potential 6s, but even your Gauss Cannons getting more hits with more effective AP and damage. So it's a nice little combo. But again, this doesn't have to be your Barge, this can be army-wide. Overall, the unit feels a bit out of sync with this edition. The weapons are not damaging enough. I feel like it's designed to target more infantry rather than heavies, but I personally want it to be dealing with the heavies and dishing out a heap of pain on my opponent's army. I do like the resiliency of the model, and the speed is pretty good. It almost feels like a land speeder in a way, more than a heavy, so maybe it should even go in the fast attack slots. The main issue here is the heavy slots itself. The Doomsday Ark and the Doomstalker are your go-to options here. It's very hard to look past those. And then you've even got your Locust Destroyers too, and your heavy Locust Destroyers, which are also better than the Barges in my opinion. So I don't really see a place for the Barge, unfortunately. The current Marine meta just doesn't work with the Tesla weapons, and the Gauss Cannon is only a 3-shot strength 6 weapon at 24-inch range as well, which is really underwhelming for 125 points. So I'm going to be giving the Annihilation Barge a Planet 40k rating of 2 out of 5. It's not useless by any means, it can still be used on light infantry and maybe hold an objective marker scoring points throughout the battle. It may even be a bit of a distraction unit for less experienced players, but overall it's not for me. Let me know what you guys think of the rating. Do you even field him? Write your answers in the comments below. Also guys, if this video hits 120 likes, I'll be working on that Catacomb Command Barge review. So those likes will indicate that that's the kind of review you want to see next. Also remember to subscribe if you're finding the channel useful. Check out our YouTube members area if you haven't already, where there's a few perks for you when you join. And we've also got our Patreon service, which the link will be in the description, where you get early access videos. You can vote on polls that determine what kind of reviews we do next. So have a look at that as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.